Hello and welcome to the Your Healing Team podcast. I'm Emma Green, physical therapist, tennis elbow queen, and your host for Your Healing Team podcast. Today, we're going to talk everything ice. So ice, baby. I know that if you've ever had any kind of niggle, probably the first thing you've been told to do is to put ice on it. So that is absolutely the right thing to do. You know, if you have an acute injury, a fresh injury, something that's less than 3 days old, ice is the way forward. The reason for that is when you have a very new injury, you're going to get a lot of bleeding into that area, a lot of swelling into that area, and ice can control that. If you've ever rolled your ankle and you kind of see that has blown up like a balloon, the pressure of that additional swelling and that additional bleeding into that area is flipping painful. And ice can really help to bring that down. It can help to numb it off. It can help you feel a whole lot better, along with other strategies that we're going to go into in the next few episodes. But ice is kind of the staple. It's kind of the go-to thing, isn't it? You'll see the trainers or the physios at the side of the pitch with their ice bags. That used to be me. I used to have to source ice wherever we were going with the team, and because that's what you need for something new and something fresh. So if there's ever a new injury, a new issue, a new niggle, a new anything, ice for the first 3 days. Now, once you've gone past that, then we generally will switch to heat. And we talked all about that in the previous episode. So if you haven't listened to that yet, please check it out, because we go into a lot of detail with regards to why we do that. But today's episode is on ice. So we're going to focus on that. Now, some people do prefer ice to heat. It is a small percentage. Once we've gone past those first 3 days, generally most people are really comfortable switching to the heat. It feels really nice, and there are lots of benefits that obviously we've been through before. Now, if you are the small percentage who prefers ice, stick with it. Your body's telling you the right things. So absolutely stick with the ice if it feels best for you. Now, there are occasions when I will advise people who have had an issue for longer than 3 days to stick with ice as well. And again, we touched on a couple of these in the previous episode. If the area is warm to the touch, so say it's your elbow. If you touch your elbow and you notice it's warm to the touch, or say it's your knee and you notice it's warm to the touch, maybe compared to the other side, or maybe compared to a different body part, if it's warm to the touch, we don't want to get additional heat onto that. We want to try and take the heat out from that. And that's where the ice could be very helpful to do that. So if the body part is warm to the touch, that can indicate there's an inflammatory process going on there. It can indicate infection. Doesn't always, obviously, I'd always say get everything checked out. If in doubt, check it out. But if something is warm, get ice on there to take the heat out of it. And now when you're using ice, we want to be really cautious using ice, because you can create ice burns on the skin. That's not okay. You can also get frostbite. Now, I've been a physical therapist for a very long time, way more years than I care to remember. And in that length of time, I have only ever seen frostbite from therapeutic ice once. And it's really not okay. If you imagine a frozen chicken breast, that's what it looks like. That's what frostbite looks like in human flesh. And so obviously that is not okay. It's damage to the tissues, and we don't want that to happen. So the way that we can mitigate that, the way that we can prevent further injury basically from taking place, is by making sure that the ice that we're using is well protected before we're applying it to the skin. Now, the most common form of ice that people use are either obviously straight ice out of the freezer, or ice packs. You can get gel ice packs that you keep in the freezer. I kind of like those because they can mold around the body really nicely. Or one of the best things, a packet of frozen peas. Packet of frozen peas, pop it into a Ziploc bag, just, just in case it pops open. You don't want peas everywhere. And make sure you don't eat them afterwards, because they're going to thaw and then freeze and then thaw and then freeze. They're not for consumption. But they can actually work really well as an ice pack. Like I say, pop it into the Ziploc bag. Then you're going to wrap it in a damp tea towel, not soaking wet, but just damp, or even a damp kitchen towel. That can be enough as well. And then to be super, super cautious, we're going to put a layer of oil on the skin as well. So a layer of oil on the bare skin. Now, this doesn't have to be anything special. You absolutely do not need to go and buy anything for this. Doesn't have to be sort of a vitamin E oil, doesn't have to be anything special at all. It can be olive oil, vegetable oil, any kind of oil you already have in your kitchen, in your bathroom would be perfect. All the oil does is to stop ice from sticking to the skin. It's protecting your skin. You're putting a layer of protection on your skin before you apply the ice. Now, when you are using the ice, you're going to use it for about 10 minutes. I wouldn't go any longer than that. Stick a timer on yourself. Put a timer on your phone. I have seen ice blisters in 2 patients in my career. And one of them was actually a nurse, and she fell asleep with the ice on. So if you put a timer on your phone, even if you fall asleep, it's going to wake you up. And okay, it's time to take the ice off. Now, if you have gone through those other levels of protection as well, making sure, putting it into the Ziploc bag, wrapping it in the damp towel, putting that oil on your skin, you're really protecting yourself from injury. But we just want to make sure that we don't create any other issues. If you have an injury to your skin from an ice burn or even a heat burn, you then can't use either of those treatment modalities, either of those strategies until your skin is recovered. So you could essentially be slowing down your healing by too much of a good thing, essentially. So ensure that that doesn't happen. Put the timer on your phone, and then even if you do drop off, you are going to be safe. You're going to wake up and you'll be able to take that ice off. So if you are somebody who's very sensitive to cold, because some people are super sensitive to cold, feel free to wrap maybe even a hand towel or something like that around it. Ice is very effective. It's great, but we don't want you to be so uncomfortable that you just dread doing it, or it's not comfortable for you to do. If you're not comfortable doing it, your muscle tension is going to increase, and that is going to have a negative effect on things anyway. So we really want you to be comfortable when you're using all of the different treatment modalities that we are suggesting. So if in doubt, check it out. That absolutely is going to be my mantra. You're going to hear me say that a lot as we go through all of these different episodes. But that is always the case. If you have any questions, concerns, always check it out with your doc, just to be on the safe side, to make sure that it's okay for you, because we're all different. Everybody's individual, and every single treatment technique that is out there is, everybody reacts differently to it, or what's right for one person might not be right for somebody else. So we just always want to be erring on the side of caution. So if in doubt, check it out. But other than that, ice can be a really nice modality to use. If you have swelling, let's get the swelling down by using ice as one of the strategies that we use with that. If you have heat in that area, let's get the heat out of it by using ice. It's a really great strategy to do that. If you have discomfort that is numbed off by the ice, that can be a really nice way to give yourself some pain relief. If you are somebody who wakes up at night because of pain, if you numb it off with ice just before you go to sleep, sometimes you can sleep through, you can get a good night's sleep. Sometimes it's not going to wake you up. So that can be a good strategy as well. So give that a try. But for the ice, 10 minutes at a time is generally what we recommend. No more than that. And even if that is uncomfortable, feel free to take it off beforehand. Don't kind of like be sitting there chewing on a pillow because you're uncomfortable. It's like, no, if it's not comfortable, something's not right. Change it up. But about 10 minutes, and again, out of every hour, similar to what the heat recommendations are, just so we can get those really good effects on a consistent basis. So give it a try. Let me know how you are feeling with that. I am going to put some of the sort of ice packs that I really like and I recommend to my clients in the show notes, so you can check those out. But if you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out. And I hope to see you with us in the next episode. All right, take care. Bye.